Chapter 61. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Now Shu pulled his shoulders together and said feebly, The teacher loves research, and he said that if I want to learn his skills, I must first adapt to them. Sooner or later I have to face corpses and conduct research, so I can adapt in advance, so I was assigned here. Depend on. Let me just say, feelings are a good thing Orochimaru did, letting his disciple guard the morgue. Orochimaru is really a damn talent, forget it, let's make peace with it now. Guarding the morgue is better than going to the battlefield, at least you don't need to be on guard against enemies everywhere, there is no need to enjoy the treatment of wind and rain. Apart from being a bit spooky, everything else is fine, but a bit boring. Qianyue, are you on good terms with Kushina? Perhaps out of boredom, Naoki wanted to find something to talk about, but ended up pulling Kushina out. The smile on Minato's face slowly solidified and he lowered his head, his eyes a little disappointed. Whichever pot you don't want to open and pick up. Why are you mentioning Kushina at this time? Forget it about mentioning Kushina, why are you asking if my relationship with her is in place? Stretching, Qianyue said perfunctorily. It's always been on point, don't you know? Ahaha, is that right? That's good. Kushina doesn't have many friends. Only with you here can she truly integrate into Konoha. Realizing that he had said something he shouldn't have said, now Shu was also quite embarrassed. Does Minato like Kushina? Then you are miserable. Kushina likes Qianyue, Shu said. Anyone who is not blind can probably see this, and Uchiha Mikoto also likes Chizuki. Minato, you probably have no hope. Not so long ago, Minato was sympathetic to the rope tree. Now, the roles have been reversed, and Naoki has become sympathetic to Minato. Seeing Naoki looking at Minato with sympathy, Qianyue was speechless. You two co-authored it. And have you become brothers? Qianyue was simply convinced by them, such a task was really boring. Within half an hour, Qianyue fell asleep. Minato and Naoki, two brothers in distress, got together, muttering about something, and seemed to be very energetic. Qianyue listened carefully and suddenly lost interest. He thought the two of them were chatting about some mysterious topic, so secretly, but it turned out that they were exchanging their experiences and learning ninjutsu. Inexplicably, Qianyue missed her mobile phone and computer. If he was given a computer or a mobile phone, Qianyue could sit here all night without getting tired. Standing idle like this makes people want to sleep. Shu, how do you usually spend your time? You can't just stand around all night, right? How come? Shu turned around and took out a pile of books from his arms. He also had an expression on his face that said, I knew you wouldn't be able to bear it, but I was prepared in advance. Because guarding the morgue is boring, I always bring some books to read so that I can pass the boring time. It just so happens that Orochimaru-sensei keeps a lot of books and you can exchange them with him at any time. Okay, reading a book to pass the time is better than standing around in a daze. Qianyue randomly picked a ninja story and started reading it. The protagonist of the story is a wandering ninja from a small village. In order to pursue the path of becoming strong, he left his hometown and the weak village and embarked on the road of experience. Damn it, it's so annoying. After turning a few pages, Qianyue decisively put the book down. Would Orochimaru still read this kind of book? This is totally self-pleasure. The ordinary little ninja who came out of Shao Ninja Village was on his way to becoming a strong man step by step. He was just shy of becoming brothers with Senju Hashirama and chatting and spanking with Madara Uchiha. Could it be that this book was written by Orochimaru? Orochimaru probably doesn't have such a hobby. Jiraiya only likes to do such shameless things. Forget it, get another one. The difficult night passed like this, and Qianyue didn't even know how she survived. This kind of work lasts for a long time, and it would be strange not to drive people crazy. Speaking of this, Qianyue admired Naoshu's optimism and innocence. After guarding the morgue for several months, he can still be cheerful all day long. It seems that being nervous is not without its benefits. At least Qianyue couldn't do it, and neither could Minato. Like Chigetsu, Minato was also a bit listless. It seems that Minato didn't read the book that Nezuki had brought with him. Minato, how is your practice of channeling? Can you successfully channel the toads in Miamu Mountain? Back in the resting tent, Naoki recalled that Orochimaru told him that Jiraiya had asked Minato to sign a psychic contract with Mount Myoki. Haha. It's not bad. Minato was immediately embarrassed and raised his hand to scratch the back of his head. not knowing how to answer. It's okay. That means you succeeded. Come out and let me see. My psychic technique has not been going well. Teacher Orochimaru warned me not to use this technique casually, as it will cause a lot of trouble. Naoki looked excited and kept urging Minato, Watergate, can we not mention the psychic beast? There is also a psychic beast in Qianyue, why don't you look for him? Minato was in a dilemma, but Qianyue couldn't help laughing. Wouldn't it be possible for one of you to dare not use necromancy, and for the other to use it, you still end up channeling a toad with a tail? How long has it been since Minato was last embarrassed? It seems to have been a long time, and anyway, Minato should have made some progress. By the way, his chakra is restricted. Minato didn't have as much chakra as he thought, which was the biggest reason why his psychic skills were limited. After all, the toads in Miamu Mountain are all a bit big, except for tadpoles and baby toads. As for Nashu, as an orthodox descendant of the Senju clan, his chakra capacity is naturally far higher than that of ordinary people. However, he didn't dare to use psychic skills easily, for fear of accidentally getting out Orochimaru's snakes. If all the snakes are really channeled, Shingshu will not even have a place to cry. She is not as easy to talk to as the toad of Mt. Mayaboku. When facing Orochimaru, he behaves as if he is the boss, and every time you come out, you must make a sacrifice, otherwise you will have to eat Orochimaru. You can imagine how difficult it is to get along with the snakes in Longdi Cave. Before you are weak enough, it is best not to channel psychics casually. It's enough. You've been laughing at me for months and still won't stop. Minato's head was covered with black lines, he gritted his teeth and stared at Qianyue, and now Shu was also confused. It turns out I'm not the only one holding back. Minato is also having trouble. A toad with a tail. Why do I feel like laughing? You can't laugh, otherwise what will happen if Minato sprays me? I don't even dare to use psychic skills casually. Now Shu stopped his laughter in time and changed the topic. What about you, Qianyue? Do you have a suitable psychic beast? He has a psychic beast for a long time, but he just doesn't want people to know about it. Minato crossed his arms and began to use provoking techniques. He had been thinking about Qianyue's psychic beast for a long time. I knew your kid was uneasy and well-meaning, so he was waiting here, yeah. Now Shu looked curious. Qianyue, what is your psychic beast? Can you let us see it? It's just a fox, nothing interesting to see. It's a big white fox. This guy is sleeping. I don't know if he's awake yet. Xiao Bai is sleeping. Qianyue hasn't paid much attention to it recently, and she doesn't know if it has woken up from its slumber. If it doesn't wake up, it would be bad to get Xiao Bai out and affect its advancement. Fox. Still white. Minato was fine, but he didn't expect Qianyue to regard an animal like a fox as a psychic beast. At the same time, he became even more curious about what Qianyue, a psychic beast, looked like. The white fox must be very beautiful. Is it strong? No, psychic beasts are there to assist in combat, not just for looks. Otherwise, Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and Tsunade would faint from crying and die in the toilet. The three psychic beasts are snake, toad, and slug. Minato was curious about what Qianyue's psychic beast looked like, whether it was a giant one or a small and cute one, but the rope tree that knew the existence of Kyuubi was different. He was already muttering in his heart. Why does this sound so unpleasant? Big fox, or white? If Qianyue hadn't added the three words, white, Naoki would have thought it was Kyuubi. After thinking about it, he laughed stupidly at his own thoughts. How could the nine tails be sealed in Kushina's body and become someone else's psychic beast? Master, Xiao Bai woke up. Take a look at reminder gifts. There will be updates every day. Red Heart, I want to be your favorite. See you every day. By the way, can I take a look at the 5-star reviews? Precious. Chapter 62. You are listening at NavelFull.audio. Just when Qianyue was about to refuse, Xiao Bai's voice came from her mind. Is the second stage of sleep over? Qianyue couldn't help but get excited. If the Xiao Bai in the first stage was just a little strong, then the Xiao Bai in the second stage would definitely attack anyone who refused to accept it. Wait until the third stage. Sorry, the exclusive Nine Tails is in the game, but it can resist the existence of the 10 Tails. Since you want to see it, I'll let you see it. Xiaobai, don't get too big. Qianyue said to Xiaobai in her heart, then raised her hand and started to form seals. In fact, his seal is a knot of loneliness, because Xiaobai doesn't need psychic skills to summon him at all, and he can return to Qianyue's body on his own even if he is far away. It would be difficult for an exclusive tailed beast like Xiaobai to be sealed. Is Qianyue going to channel her own psychic beast? Minato and Naoki both widened their eyes and looked at him curiously. After the psychic technique was completed, white smoke exploded in the tent, and Xiaobai, whose body was only as big as a short-legged corgi, appeared in front of the three of them. Owner. Xiaobai shouted happily and jumped towards Qianyue. Qianyue raised her hand to catch it and held it in her arms. Xiaobai pressed his little head against Qianyue's chest, and his 9 long tails swayed in the air. What a sweet, charming voice. If they hadn't seen the voice coming from a fox's mouth, Minato and Naoki would have mistakenly thought it was a beautiful woman speaking. This sound is simply not very attractive. It makes people feel itchy. It's been a long time since I came out. Qianyue hugged Xiaobai lovingly, gently stroked its soft white hair, and said to Minato and Nashu, "This is my psychic beast, Xiaobai. It is a fox with 9 tails. It can grow in size, and it is a girl. I'm sore." Minato looked at Xiaobai, and then compared Xiaobai with the toads from Timayaboku, and it instantly turned into lemon essence. There's no comparison at all. Compared with Xiaobai, Miamu Mountain's toad is simply a piece of shit. I really want a psychic beast like this. I don't like snakes at all. I like foxes. Qingshu's eyes were hot and he stared at Xiaobai, wishing he could snatch Xiaobai away from Qianyue's arms, then hold him and jerk him off a few times, enjoying the feeling of stroking a fox. Even though he looks good, his voice is still so attractive, coquettish and charming. This fox must have turned into a vixen. After receiving the praise from his master, Xiaobai hummed and raised his little head proudly, his big blue eyes turning around, constantly looking at Minato and the rope tree. "Master? Are they your teammates? They look good, but they are not as good as that little girl named Kushina." "Ahem." Disliked by a psychic beast due to its strength, Minato coughed and Naoki choked on his saliva. "Don't talk nonsense." Qianyue was embarrassed and rubbed Xiaobai's head. Xiaobai will place Kushina on top of Minato and Nezu, mainly because the 9 tails in Kushina's body add points. It's a pity that the relationship between Kushina and Kyuubi is like fire and water. If she becomes a perfect Jinchuriki, she will definitely become the strongest person in Konoha. By then, the 3rd Hokage and Danzo would no longer be keeping Kushina in captivity, but would be weird if they didn't treat her as their ancestor. Placing Haku on his bed, Chizuki went to prepare food while warning Minato and Naoki, "Don't touch it. Xiaobai is very powerful and has a bad temper towards outsiders. If you don't listen and get hurt, I won't be responsible." Everyone has a love for beauty, and Xiaobai's good looks have already made Minato and Naoki dislike the snakes in Ryuchi Cave and the toads in Mitamayuki. When the two of them looked at Xiaobai, their eyes started to glow green, and they wanted to grab Xiaobai and hold him in their arms. Qianyue promised that if they dared to reach out, they would definitely regret it until their intestines were knotted. Qianyue's warning put an end to Minato and Naoki's thoughts of hugging Haku. Minato was okay. Naoki followed him directly and asked quietly, "Qianyue, how did you obtain your psychic beast? It seems that Qingshu is very excited and wants to get one of the same style. It would be better if it has a cute sound and makes the whole body feel comfortable." Qianyue was kneading dough, looked back at Qingshu, and replied, "I'm not sure. Xiaobai said that it chose me. When I used the psychic technique for the first time, I signed a contract with it. Until now, it's just that it's usually sleeping, so it hasn't channeled me." Xiaobai has grown to the 2nd stage, and his chakra has been perfectly converged, and he no longer needs to hide it. As long as it doesn't break out, everyone will mistake Xiaobai for a pet. All right. Hearing what Qianyue said, Naoshu knew that his hope of getting a similar model was dashed. Judging from Xiaobai's appearance, even if there were other tribesmen, they would not let him sign a contract with them. It's also a shame that Qianyue didn't know what the rope tree was thinking, otherwise she would have told him that there was still a chance, such as one in Konoha. It's just that the Konoha one has a bad temper. In addition to the Kyuubi of Konoha, there are also tailed beasts in other villages. As long as you don't get killed by the detonating talisman, there are plenty of chances. The premise is that you are strong enough, like Uchiha Madara, who forcibly signed a psychic contract with Kyuubi. For Kyuubi, this is the greatest shame for beasts, being controlled by the Sharingan and being sealed is fine. Being forced to sign a contract is the most unacceptable thing for it. As long as Uchiha Madara uses psychic skills, Kyuubi's little heart will jump a few times. This shows how much Uchiha Madara is a deterrent to Ninetales. This is yours, eat it. After breakfast, Qianyue finished her portion of the fried noodles and left the tent with the bowl in hand. Seeing this, Xiaobai nimbly jumped onto his shoulders, got into the raincoat and lay on his head, looking like a white hat. Fortunately, Xiaobai is white. If it were green, who would dare to let it lie on the head? Not to mention, it's quite warm. Qianyue couldn't help but think, at this time, in the tent, Minato and Nezuki were worried. I know what you're thinking. While eating noodles, Minato rolled his eyes when he saw that Nezuki was staring at him. Shinshu smiled awkwardly. I also know what you're talking about. We must have a unified voice. We must not let Teacher Orochimaru and Teacher Jiraiya know that we dislike their psychic beasts, otherwise the teacher will be very disappointed. I agree. Minato immediately raised his hand in agreement. It would be great fun if word got out that they liked Xiaobai and disliked toads and snakes. Jiraiya probably wouldn't be angry. After all, it's hard for people to like creatures like toads, but if the toads of Mtimayaboka knew about it, they might refuse to serve Minato. There is no need to say more about Orochimaru. The snakes in Ryuchi Cave are not easy to deal with. With Orochimaru's character, if he knows about this, he probably won't give the rope tree good fruits to eat, so we have to convince Qianyue to keep the secret. The two of them agreed and said in unison. Tsunade's location was easy to find, and with Xiaobai leading the way, Qianyue quickly arrived at the tent where the medical department was resting, but when he entered the tent, he was surprised to find that besides Tsunade, there were other people in the tent, coming. Orochimaru and Jiraiya returned to the camp in the early morning and came to her. Tsunade helped them treat their wounds, and not long after that, Qianyue came. Seeing Qianzuki coming, Tsunade suddenly couldn't sit still, left Orochimaru and Jiraiya behind, rushed forward, and grabbed the bowl Qianzuki brought. It smells so good. What is this? It seems I haven't eaten yet. I stayed up all night and I'm starving to death. Tsunade was not afraid of being burned, so she picked up the chopsticks, stirred it, and started eating it. Oil noodles. Qianyue sat aside and replied, nodding to say hello to Orochimaru and Jiraiya who were looking at him not far away. The aroma of fried noodles filled the tent, and Jiraiya swallowed subconsciously. He had almost forgotten how long it had been since he had eaten hot food. Orochimaru, who was not picky about food, also had straight eyes. After all, he had been fighting on the battlefield for more than a month, and he had only been able to survive on military ration pills and dry food. Who wouldn't want to take a bite of hot food? Chapter 63. You are listening at NaNoFull.audio. Don't even think about it. When Tsunade raised her head, she saw Jiraiya and Orochimaru staring at her, and quickly raised her hand to protect her bowl. If you want to eat, go to the logistics department by yourself. Don't bother me. I'm starving. Sorry, seniors, I didn't know you were here, so I wasn't prepared. Qianyue really didn't know that Orochimaru and Jiraiya were here, otherwise it would be difficult to make 2 more bowls of noodles. Fortunately, he is not eating it now. As long as Tsunade is not afraid of embarrassment, Qianyue doesn't care about that. Tsunade's own guests will be entertained by herself. It's not too late to prepare now. Jiraiya hit the snake with a stick. Qianyue was speechless. Jiraiya's face was far thicker than he expected. Roll. Tsunade took the initiative to help Qianyue out of the siege and cursed at Jiraiya. Qianyue has just been on duty all night and wants to help me make breakfast. If you want to eat it, get it yourself. I was just joking, that's all. Jiraiya looked up at the sky speechlessly. Orochimaru smiled and said nothing. He just looked at Qianyue curiously. This was the first time Qianyue met Orochimaru. It's so boring. Xiaobai got out of the raincoat and looked curiously at Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya in the tent. Tsunade's eyes lit up when she saw Xiaobai with peak appearance. Jiraiya came up curiously. Is this your pet? She's very cute. She's a girl and has a nice voice. Among the 3 of them, only Orochimaru froze. Xiaobai glanced at him just now, which made him feel as if he was being stared at by a terrifying beast. this was the first time Orochimaru encountered this feeling. You follow toads, stay away from me. The smell of toads on your body is much stronger than that of that person named Minato. I don't know if the tailed beast is born with different horoscopes from the creatures of the Third Holy Land. No. When Jiraiya came a little closer, his eyes revealed a malicious look. Xiao Bai became wary. That I wanted to ask where Qianyue got the pet, but Jiraiya was choked by Xiao Bai's words. Toads stink. Have it? Why does my majestic toad sage Jiraiya have the stench of toads on him? Ha ha ha, I was laughing so hard. Tsunade was so out of breath from laughing that she didn't even bother to eat the noodles. The dough crumbs in his mouth also spurted out far away, all over Jiraiya. Jiraiya's eyes became particularly resentful. Tsunade, even if I was disliked by a pet, you actually sprayed me all over. Ha ha ha, you deserve it. Tsunade smiled in an expressionless manner. A faint smile appeared on Orochimaru's face. He narrowed his eyes, looked at Xiao Bai who was lying in Qianyue's arms, and said, This is not a pet, it should be a psychic beast. Am I right, Qianyue-kun? Judging from the creepy feeling just now, Orochimaru can definitely say that the white fox in Qianyue's arms is definitely not a pet, but a psychic beast, and it is also a psychic beast with terrible strength. If you treat it as a pet, and it suddenly slaps you to death, you won't know what happened. Xiao Bai is indeed my psychic beast, not a pet. Qianyue rubbed Xiao Bai's soft hair and said with a smile, Senior, just call me by my name. There is no need to be too polite. Then I'll call you Qianyue. Orochimaru, who has not yet embarked on the road to darkness, is not too difficult to get along with. The strange thing is that he is the craziest and darkest among the three ninjas, but Orochimaru is also the most reasonable person among the three ninjas. He is not as thick-skinned as Jiraiya, nor is he as carefree as Tsunade, who also likes to beat people up. Okay, psychic beast. How can such a small fox assist in fighting? Xiao Bai's chakra aura was completely restrained, which made Jiraiya mistakenly think that Xiao Bai was very weak and could be regarded as an auxiliary psychic beast at best. Even Tsunade thought so. Only Orochimaru was certain that Xiao Bai was not a pet or a supporting psychic beast, but a terrifying beast. Do you feel this, little fox? After being rejected by Xiao Bai, Jiraiya stopped approaching and watched from a distance. Suddenly he clapped his hands, but when he said the word fox, he received a warning from Xiao Bai's eyes, so he quickly corrected, Doesn't this Xiao Bai look like one of our big guys in Konoha? Although he has never seen the Kyuubi in person, as a disciple of the third Hokage, he is no stranger to tailed beasts. Jiraiya still knew what the Kyuubi looked like, except that Xiao Bai is a little smaller, white in color, and has a higher appearance. The rest of his appearance is almost exactly the same as Kyuubi. It's a bit similar, but it's a pity that there can't be a second Kyuubi in the world. Tsunade pouted and continued eating her noodles. He quickly finished the bowl of noodles and patted his belly with a satisfied look on his face. Kyuubi? Qianyue pretended not to know and looked over curiously. Are you sure you can tell? Orochimaru and Jiraiya looked at Tsunade in surprise. Tsunade waved her hands casually and said, What's the big deal? Although he has Uchiha blood, he will find out sooner or later. The third Hokage and Danzo tried their best to hide this, but Tsunade didn't care. She believed that Qianyue would not be hostile to Kushina. Let Qianyue know some things early to avoid misunderstandings in the future. Qianyue, have you ever heard of tailed beasts? I've heard of it. It seems to be a very powerful creature. The corners of Qianyue's mouth twitched slightly. I just want to hold one myself. Xiao Bai in his arms also twitched his ears feebly, feeling very bored listening to others explaining to his owner what tailed beasts were. That's not bad. After thinking for a while, Tsunade said, There are 9 powerful tailed beasts in the ninja world, ranging from 1 tail to 9 tails. The more tails there are, the stronger the tailed beasts are. We have 1 tailed beast in Konoha, and that is the most powerful 9 tails. Tsunade. Angry shouting came from outside the tent. Tsunade rolled her eyes at the sound and Jiraiya shrugged at Orochimaru. Orochimaru smiled playfully, knowing that Tsunade was going to be in trouble. You can't run away if you at least chant it. There might be another quarrel. Danzo is here. There are not many people in Konoha who dare to scold Tsunade like this, and Danzo is one of them. It's a pity that Tsunade won't buy it. Take a walk around the 5 stars, there will be updates every day. I love you all, Red Heart. Chapter 64. You are listening at NavelFull.audio. Orochimaru and Jiraiya returned to the camp and came to Tsunade. Danzo decided to discuss some arrangements with them. Unexpectedly, when he heard Tsunade's words when he walked outside the tent, Danzo suddenly became very angry. This is an absolute secret of the village. Is this how you, Tsunade, tell others so easily? The root ninja opened the tent, and Danzo walked in with a black face, saying angrily, Tsunade, is this how your teacher taught you to casually reveal the village's secrets? What a secret! Hearing this, Qianyue was extremely speechless. Since it was a secret, how did the ninjas from the Cloud Ninja village sneak into Konoha and capture Kushina? I know what I should say and what I shouldn't say. I don't need Assistant Danzo to remind me. Tsunade made a serious face and said in an unhappy tone, Assistant Danzo, you only need to do what you should do. You don't need to worry about Kushina and I. You, Tsunade responded directly, leaving no face for Danzo. Suddenly, Danzo became even more angry. After all, he is also Konoha's Hokage assistant and the frontline commander on the battlefield. But what about Tsunade? He didn't take Danzo seriously at all. Ever since the Uzumaki clan was exterminated, Tsunade's attitude towards Danzo has become worse and worse. The Uzumaki clan was exterminated. Although it was not Konoha's fault, Konoha played some unspeakable roles in it. In other words, it is adding fuel to the flames, and the person who caused all this is Danzo. Even when the Uzumaki clan asked for help, Danzo strongly opposed Konoha's aid to the Uzumaki clan. He even brought out the war theory and forced the third Hokage to make concessions. The Uzumaki clan was gone, and Konoha had no help, and even jumped out at the end to take over the Uzumaki clan's legacy. These things are like a sharp thorn stuck in Uzumaki Mido's heart. It's a pity that she is old, and even if she has a high status, she can no longer influence the village's decisions. In the end, Uzumaki Mido could only accept this result, and he would not let it go until his death. Tsunade saw all these things. In this case, how could she have a good impression and attitude towards Danzo, Koharu and Mido Kaden? It's already good without scolding me. Ahem, I wonder if Lord Danzo came to Tsunade for something. Seeing that Tsunade and Danzo were about to quarrel again, Jiraiya quickly stepped forward to calm the atmosphere. It is not a good thing for a medical department boss and a battlefield commander to start a quarrel in the camp. Even if it doesn't give the enemy an opportunity to take advantage of it, it won't sound good if it gets spread out. It is easy for people to mistakenly think that Konoha generals are at odds with each other, which will damage their own morale. Therefore, Tsunade was unwilling to quarrel with Danzo, and would rather leave the medical department and enter the battlefield to kill the enemy. With Jiraiya coming out to smooth things over, Danzo, who was neither up to down nor down, had his steps down, and his tone also slowed down. The ANBU people have received some latest information. The three of you should come to the headquarters to discuss the distribution of military strength. After saying that, Danzo didn't want to stay here for one more second. He glanced at Qianyue with a dark look and left with the root of the ninja. Damn it. Look at me doing the hammer thing. It's not me who said anything about Kyuubi. If you have the ability, go and fight Tsunade. Why are you staring at me? I won't eat your Shimura's rice. Am I being targeted? Will a rooted ninja come to your door in the middle of the night? Qianyue raised her hand to press her chin and began to make curious guesses. What should he do if a rooted ninja comes to his door? It doesn't seem like it's easy to bury bodies in the camp. It's really troublesome. How about stuffing it directly into the ceiling scroll in the morgue? Danzo would be so angry. Snort. Tsunade was not afraid of offending Danzo and said bluntly, Be careful, that old guy is not a good person. Danzo, who had just walked out of the tent, stumbled, and an angry look appeared on Danzo's face under the root ninja mask. Apparently, he heard what Tsunade said. Walk. Danzo pretended not to hear this and left with the others. Jiraiya smiled bitterly and said, Tsunade, why are you doing this? This will make things difficult for the old man. Jiraiya has always disapproved of Tsunade going against the higher-ups like this, even if what they did was dirty. After all, we are all from the same village, and we will lose face if we make trouble. Orochimaru smiled sarcastically. What he couldn't stand the most was Jiraiya's temper. Obviously I can't stand it. and all kinds of worries. Sometimes I'm afraid of this, sometimes I'm afraid of that. Tsunade was so angry that she wanted to hit someone. He turned to stare at Jiraiya. Wanting to kill him with his eyes. Even if you don't want to stand up, why are you here to persuade me? Get lost and go away. Seeing Tsunade going crazy, Jiraiya immediately ran away holding his head and rushed out of the tent like flying. First, he was afraid that Tsunade would beat him. Next, he wanted to find something to eat, and then go see his disciple Minato. We haven't seen each other for so long, I hope Minato can understand me. Then I'll take my leave now, Qianyue-kun. Orochimaru said hello with a smile and left the tent. I'm furious. Tsunade slapped the table, causing the dishes and chopsticks on the table to bounce. Lao Gao looked at the deep palm prints on the table. Qianyue felt that if this slap were to hit someone, many bones would be broken. Deli, flash people. Qianyue would not comfort Tsunade or persuade her to calm down. It's not me who provoked her, why should I comfort her? Anyway, I, Yagami Chizuki, was not the one who was attacked or beaten. Qianyue thought as she ran away. Seeing that Qianyue didn't even care about the dishes and chopsticks and just ran away, Tsunade laughed angrily and said angrily, "Be careful and don't run around. That old guy is very insidious. Be careful of him causing trouble for you." Danzo didn't dare to attack her, but Tsunade was afraid that Danzo would be angry with Kianzuki. How could it be? I'm just a little transparent. Your affairs won't involve me. Let's go. Remember to come over for dinner tonight. Looking for trouble with me? Come on, don't leave once you're here. It just so happened that there were still many seal scrolls in the morgue. As for whether Danzo would be offended to death, Qianyue didn't care. He was born to be on the opposite side of Danzo, and whether he offended him or not, the result would be the same. Even if nothing happened today, sooner or later, Danzo would attack him, because his relationship with the Kyuubi Jinchuriki is too close. Of course, it's also because he has Uchiha blood. Qianyue is not naive enough to think that. Because he is a mixed race and a white-haired person, Danzo will be lenient to him. You will face it sooner or later. Why not come earlier? He wouldn't mind giving Danzo a little warning. He also wanted to tell Danzo, don't reach out casually. I, Yagami Qianyue, am not that easy to handle. I won't be as timid as other Uchiha people. Where's Minato? Back in the tent, Qianyue didn't see Minato. Naoki was lying down reading a book. Hearing this, he turned over and replied feebly, where else can he go? Just follow his teacher Jiraiya. It can be seen that the rope tree is sour and has turned into lemon essence, because Minato was called away by his teacher Jiraiya, and he rope tree, no. Orochimaru hadn't even come to meet him yet. This made Shinshu feel resentful. The reminder is full, and the updates are enough. Red Heart. Chapter 66. You are listening at NavelFull.audio. The actions of Sand Ninja Village are to drag us firmly within the Kingdom of Rain and prevent the war from ending quickly. Tsunade looked serious and said loudly, In addition, Hokage-sama proposes peace talks with Hanzo to end the war as soon as possible and turn around to deal with the enemies who have invaded the Land of Fire. This was what the third Hokage meant, and Tsunade just conveyed it on her behalf. As for whether Danzo is willing to listen, that's his business. It seems that Danzo is unwilling to negotiate peace with Hanzo. Once the negotiation is successful and the war ends, Danzo will have no choice but to return to Konoha. He can only continue to be his Hokage assistant and the leader of the Roots. The rights in your hands will also leave because of this. Everyone is looking at Danzo. Whether they want to negotiate with the Rain Ninja Village depends on Danzo. After all, Danzo is the commander-in-chief assigned by the village. If he doesn't agree, the third Hokage's intention will be in vain, unless formally ordered. Under the gaze of everyone, Danzo slowly spoke. The current situation is chaotic. The military strength of the Rain Ninja Village is strong, and Hanzo is a demigod. How can he easily negotiate with Konoha? This war will not end easily. If you are willing to negotiate, you must first send someone to contact Hanzo. Isn't your lord too arbitrary? Tsunade looked at Danzo coldly, knowing that Danzo would not agree. It happened that the third Hokage meant negotiation, not order. Negotiation means that Danzo has the final say on major matters on the front line. If Danzo doesn't want to, it means he didn't say anything. Orochimaru had a faint smile on his face, looking at Danzo with a bit of sarcasm in his eyes. This result did not exceed his expectations. Only Jiraiya couldn't bear it and asked with a frown. As soon as these words came out, the expressions of many Jounin in the command center changed. They had the same idea as Jiraiya, hoping to end the war as soon as possible. The country of fire was currently in chaos, and the ninjas in Suna Ninja Village were causing trouble everywhere. Ending the war in Ninja Village as soon as possible is the best choice, but Danzo seemed reluctant. Are you questioning me? Being questioned in front of so many people, Danzo lost his temper and glared at Jiraiya. Look, I just know it, Tsunade sneered, crossed her arms and stopped talking. Although he was unwilling to quarrel with Danzo, Jiraiya still tried hard to fight for it. Lord Danzo, I don't question your intentions, but I hope to send someone to contact the Rain Ninja Village to see if the Rain Ninja Village is willing to negotiate. If the Rain Ninja Village doesn't agree, it doesn't matter if I, Konoha, fight the war to the end. Konoha, the leader of the 5 great ninja villages, is still afraid of a Rain Ninja Village. I will personally send someone to contact the people in Ninja Village. Do you have any other questions? Danzo had a gloomy face. Jiraiya shook his head and said, No, just make arrangements with Danzo-sama. Then this concludes today's meeting. Everyone should perform their duties and do their jobs well. Don't let the enemy have a chance to make a sneak attack. Danzo issued an eviction order. Everyone stood up and left the headquarters. Be prepared, it's going to be a long fight. Orochimaru said with a smile. Anyone could tell who he was mocking. Jiraiya was speechless. You didn't say it when you were inside, but now you say it's useless. I'm going to make arrangements with the medical department. Tsunade was in a mess and she wasn't ready to stay in the camp. Looking at Danzo's sinister face, she felt panicked in her heart. It would be better to go to the battlefield. Aren't you going to stay? Orochimaru was still smiling. Tsunade looked at him coldly. I want to smash your face now. Why are you hitting me? I'm not provoking you. Orochimaru smiled and spread his hands, showing that he was innocent. Jiraiya smiled guiltily and took a few steps back, not daring to provoke Tsunade at this time, otherwise he would really get beaten. After arranging matters in the medical department, Tsunade approached Qianyue and the others. You 3 will go back and rest immediately. Pack your things and leave the camp with me tomorrow morning. The job here will be taken over. Are we going to the battlefield? Shinshu was so excited to give it a try that she was almost moved to tears. He had been waiting for this day for a long time, but Tsunade did not allow him to go to the battlefield, and Orochimaru didn't mean to take him with him. As a result, Shinshu has been working as a handyman in the camp until today. You seem to be very good. Meaning? Tsunade glanced over with murderous eyes. Like a lightning strike, the rope tree froze in place for an instant, and its smile froze. Your sister is like a volcano that is about to erupt. It is going to explode. You are still complaining at this time. It is simply unreasonable for you not to be beaten. The rope tree's old problem has happened again. Minato scratched his head and showed a burdened smile. As a result, Minato won the bid immediately with this smile. Tsunade, who had just scolded her brother and was still in a depressed mood, turned around to see Minato grinning and scratching his head. This smile and this action were exactly the same as Jiraiya's, which made Tsunade look at Huda. What are you laughing at? Just like that teacher of yours. Watergate, who am I messing with? That's it, go back and rest quickly, then pack your things and set off tomorrow morning. It's over. Although it was safe to stay in the camp, except for being stabbed in the back, the job of guarding the morgue was really not suitable for Qianyue. Any news? How long has this been going on? How long does it take to warn a kid? In the headquarters, Danzo recalled that he had asked someone to warn Qianyue. As a result, it was late at night and no one came back. Sir, Macaque and Sanli haven't come back yet. Gen's ninja appears in the headquarters. Waste. Danzo cursed angrily. If you can't do such a small thing well, it's a waste. Sure enough, Gen's strength was still too weak, but Sarutobi wouldn't let him ask for people from the village's families, otherwise Gen's situation wouldn't be so embarrassing. At this period, the third Hokage was at the peak of his strength and ambition, and he would definitely not allow Danzo to mess around. Unlike after the Third War, Danzo simply did whatever he wanted in Konoha, not to mention taking orphans from orphanages to do experiments and training them to be spies, or even letting people from various families come to work for him openly, send someone to find them back, and take a look at what the brat Qianyue Yagami is doing. Yes, sir. Gen's ninja left quickly and soon brought back some not-so-good news. Danzo-sama, Yagami Qianjetsu, and the others have returned to the tent to rest. This is Tsunadeheim's order. There is a new team stationed at the morgue. No trace of the macaques was found around. Footprints were found not far from the morgue, and there was still blood on the ground. I'm afraid, there are footprints and blood stains on the ground. Do you need an explanation? Already dead. So the question is, who dares to attack his Danzo people? Yagami Qianzuki. Only he has this strength and such motivation. After all, if his people went to warn him, Qianyue might get angry and kill him. Look for the body. If there is enough evidence to prove that this kid did it, take him under control immediately. Yes. At the moment, it's just a suspicion. Danzo has no evidence that Qianyue killed the ninja at the root. Even if Qianyue has such possibility and motivation, but without evidence, Danzo didn't dare to mess around. Otherwise, if Tsunade and others jump out, it will cause a lot of trouble. However, can Gen's ninja body still be found? Chapter 69. You are listening at NavelFull.audio. Would lighting a fire here attract the enemy? Shingshu was sitting by the fire, drying clothes, and didn't forget to ask, by the way, Qianyue, why is your teleportation technique so powerful? Not only is the explosion powerful, but it is also surprisingly fast. Compared to the teleportation technique, Minato had long been convinced the explosive power is not as good as Qianyue, and the speed is still not as good as him. Fortunately, Minato has a more optimistic personality. If it were a small-minded person, he would have been hit to pieces. By condensing chakra into the soles of your feet and exploding, your explosive power can also be enhanced and the speed of the teleportation technique can be increased. However, doing so is more harmful to the body. I don't recommend this to ordinary people, but you can try it. After all, the Senju clan generally has more chakra. Watergate. With that said, Qianyue pointed to the woods in the distance. Minato understood instantly, put on his raincoat and left the sentry point. Entering the woods. Is there an enemy? Shinshu was a little surprised, and his whole body jumped up. There are no enemies, but there is dinner. Qianyue's mouth twitched. How did Tsunade and Orochimaru teach him that Naoki's awareness of all aspects is not obvious and he's not good enough? His strength is pretty good, but in some aspects, it's disappointing, even worse than Minato. No wonder you were killed by a detonating talisman on the battlefield of the Kingdom of Wind, and your internal organs were eviscerated by the ninjas of the Cloud Ninja Village. Finally angry, Orochimaru took the risk and ran to the Cloud Ninja Village to free the Eight Tails and help you take revenge. With the power of being a frontline commander, the battle destroyed thousands of ninjas in the sand. Ninja Village. Orochimaru really loves you. Speaking of which, why did the ninjas from Cloud Ninja Village go to the battlefield in the Kingdom of Wind? He even hollowed out the rope tree's internal organs when he had nothing to do. He must be sick. No wonder Orochimaru ran to Kumo Ninja Village in anger to release the Eight Tails in your village. It's completely insane, even the corpses are not spared. Dinner. Naoki was indeed a little confused, maybe because he had not been with Qianyue for a long time, and his thinking rhythm could hardly keep up with Qianyue and Minato. It's pretty good, enough to eat. Before Naoki could get the answer he wanted, Minato had already returned. He also held a small wild boar in his hand, enough for 3 people to eat. Meat is not easy to store, but Qianyue still likes to eat it fresh if possible, even if wild boar isn't very tasty. Others are nervous on the battlefield, worried about the enemy coming out. We're good, we're going to start grilling meat. Wouldn't it be a good idea to do this? Facts have proved that no one can escape the law of true fragrance. An hour later, Shingshu's mouth was full of oil and he was happier than anyone else. I didn't even care about the wet clothes on my body. Eating meat was more important. On the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain, thousands of miles away in the camp of the Kingdom of Kawa, the mentally traumatized 3rd Kazekage finally recovered. At this time, he was holding the information collected by the ANBU and spies of Sand Ninja Village. It seems like this kid is still hiding himself. Seeing that there was no information about Konoha praising Qianyue's achievements, the third Kazekage knew that Qianyue was hiding something. For example, as the strongest Kazekage, he was trapped in an illusion and ended up being mentally traumatized. These things did not come out. The third Kazekage didn't believe that Konoha would keep it secret. If it were him, he would definitely spread the word. This is a great opportunity to boost morale. How could he miss it? The news didn't come out. There was only one possibility, and that was that the brat named Qianyue Yagami didn't report the matter. Are you afraid of being assassinated if you shine too brightly? Assassinating geniuses from other villages is an unwritten rule in every ninja village. In peacetime, as long as the target is too obvious, assassination is the tacit rule. Now that Qianyue has gone to the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain, it is impossible for the third Kazekage to rush to the Kingdom of Rain to find Qianyue to fight for his life just because something embarrassing happened to him. He needs to sit in the camp and control the overall situation, since you don't want to spread the word. I'll help you. Genius. Only those who can grow up are called geniuses, and those who do not die on the way are called geniuses. It would be best to be famous in the ninja world, but being too famous may not necessarily be a good thing, because this will bring you countless troubles and hatred, maybe even from within. Picking up a ninjutsu scroll, the third Kazekage quickly wrote down what happened when he met Qianyue. Give it to the ANBU person. Publish the information on the scroll. The wider the message, the better. It's best to let the ninja world know that Konoha has a super genius named Qianyue Yagami. It is best to say that he is a super genius comparable to the ninja god Senju Hashirama. Yes. The ANBU ninja subconsciously agreed, and the next second they were stunned, looking up at the third Kazekage in shock. Master Kazekage, just do it. The third Kazekage's voice was unmistakable. Yes. The ANBU ninja was shocked. He quickly lowered his head, took the ninjutsu scroll respectfully, left quickly, and sent the scroll to the intelligence department. Convey the meaning of the third Kazekage. As for how the intelligence department spreads the news, he doesn't need to think about it. After all, others are professionals. After knowing the request of the third Kazekage and reading the contents of the scroll, the people in the intelligence department looked at each other in shock. Are all the contents in the scroll true? Not that much. He's just a kid, and he's a half-blood Uchiha. Is he so scary? The problem is that Kazekage-sama shouldn't target a kid casually. His behavior before was very strange. It turned out that he was injured, so, everything is true. Konoha has produced a genius who can rival Senju Hashirama. The news must get out. With the help of Suna Ninja Village's intelligence department, various news began to spread, and it didn't take long for them to arrive in Konoha. Sarutobi, what exactly are you thinking? In my opinion, it would be enough to recall Yagami Kianzuki from the front line for questioning. Why guess? After going to bed, Koharu impatiently urged the third Hokage. Alas, sighing, the third Hokage put down the information scroll and looked at the two people helplessly. Do you think the content of the intelligence is true? It should be true. Xiaochun turned to bed and said, It's too late for Zangdu to expose this kind of embarrassing thing. Why would the third Kazekage make it public? Isn't it just to let other villages know that Yagami Kianzuki is a super genius, and then find a way to kill him? If it's true, why didn't Yagami Qianyue report the truth? Mito Menyen pushed up the glasses on the bridge of his nose. These things require further verification. Irritably, he picked up the pipe and lit it, and took a few deep puffs of smoke. The third Hokage's eyes were full of haze. This is not good news for him. Qianyue is a genius, which is very important to Konoha. Geniuses are worth cultivating, but if a genius goes too far and becomes a pervert, there will be problems. If Qianyue's life experience is innocent, forget it. The worst thing is to train him carefully and recruit him into the lineup of the Hokage series. Even if he is not one of your own, then find a way to make him one of your own. But Qianyue has Uchiha blood. Before, Uchiha was indifferent and just asked Uchiha Fugaku, the young patriarch, to try to invite him. If the news spread, Uchiha would definitely try his best to win over Qianyue. Once Qianyue is roped in, everything will be in vain. If not, they might even become political enemies. It wasn't just a day or two for Uchiha to peek at the Hokage's position. there is another question that annoys the third Hokage, that is, if the information is true, why is Qianyue unwilling to report it? Chapter 70. You are listening at NavelFull.audio. Why was the part about the third Kazekage deliberately omitted when he was in the Hokage's office? This is a distrust of him and the village. Send a message to the front line and ask Tsunade to ask and verify the authenticity, the rest will be discussed after everything comes to light. The third Hokage hoped that the information obtained by the intelligence department was false. If true, he would have a hard time doing it. Father. Uchiha Fugaku dragged his tired body back home and kneeled respectfully in front of the Uchiha clan leader. Look at it, it's quite a surprise. The wrinkles covered with age spots on the Uchiha clan leader's old face were deeply squeezed together. Yes. Uchiha Fugaku opened the scroll and read it. This is impossible. As soon as he saw part of it, he exclaimed, sit down. The Uchiha clan leader sternly scolded, as a young clan leader, you will take over the entire Uchiha in the future, and you won't be able to calm down even if you make a small wave. How can you convince the clan members? Yes. Uchiha Fugaku quickly sat down and continued to read the scroll. Even so, the shock on his face could not be concealed. Is this real? The news that Qianyue killed a team of Jonin alone was shocking enough. Moreover, he was able to control Hidate Hoshi Shimura, a powerful Jounin, with just one genjutsu, and even caused him to suffer mental trauma and lay in the hospital for a long time before he could recover. These achievements are already surprising for a child. What's even more frightening is that even the third-generation Kazekage has been tricked. No wonder the Sand Ninja village made a surprise attack on the Fire Country. But there was no trace of the third Kazekage. It also made everyone in Konoha suspicious. They always felt that the third Kazekage was hiding somewhere, and they didn't dare to fight back too violently, just for fear that the third Kazekage would suddenly come and steal the house. It turned out that he was injured due to Qianyue's illusion and had to hide himself to recuperate. Konoha has been worried for so long in vain. Killing a team of Jonin made Qianyue firmly believe that he was a genius, and he easily controlled Hidate Hoshi Shimura, which further confirmed this. But even the third-generation Kazekage, who is said to be the strongest, can't withstand Qianyue's illusion. This is equivalent to Qianyue going to heaven. Once he is given enough time to continue to grow, he will definitely become one of the best in the village. As long as you are strong enough, even the government can change its policies because of you. This is the truth, so we're going to keep wooing him. Uchiha Fugaku couldn't help but think of the last time he went to see Qianyue, and he was rejected. He has never been able to let go of this matter. Exactly. The Uchiha clan leader slowly brewed tea and said calmly, we Uchiha have no shortage of geniuses, but even we Uchiha need to win over geniuses who are enough to change everything. Besides, he himself has the blood of our Uchiha. White hair is not acceptable. What a ridiculous reason. Uchiha Taira Fugaku listened quietly, but he couldn't help complaining in his heart. It was you old stubborns who said white hair was unacceptable before. Fugaku, I'm old. The Uchiha clan leader sighed quietly. Uchiha Fugaku lowered his head, clenched his fists, and gritted his teeth. Yes, father, I will work hard. The implication of this statement is that he is old and so are the elders. Even if you are wrong, you can't show off your old face and ask for help, so this kind of thing has to fall on you as the young patriarch. You won't mind, right? After all, you will be the one to take over Uchiha from now on. If possible, Uchiha Fugaku really wouldn't want to do such a thing, but he had no choice. Even if he was embarrassed, even if he was rejected, he would still have to face it. The Uchiha clan leader nodded with satisfaction. This matter is basically settled, and it is up to Uchiha Fugaku, the young clan leader, to win over Qianyue. Being able to win over Qianyue and allow him to return to Uchiha smoothly proved that he, Uchiha Fugaku, was capable. If he can't do it, it means he is incompetent. This was the result of discussions between several elders and the Uchiha clan leader. And the other party gave in. Fortunately, success or failure will not affect Uchiha Fugaku's takeover of the Uchiha clan. The news continued to spread, and in the Rain Country camp, Danzo also received the scroll from the village. Bump. After reading the contents of the scroll, Danzo slapped the table angrily. He never expected that the half-blood Uchiha brat he looked down upon would have such a powerful talent. I thought it was a warning. Just drop it. Who knows, it will be a huge disaster. Even the third Kazekage was hit. which meant that Danzo couldn't escape even if the opponent used that Sakura falling genjutsu. When he thought that he might be controlled by Qianyue's genjutsu and perform a shameful dance in public, Danzo wanted to find a knife and chop Qianyue into pieces first. This scourge cannot be allowed to remain, but the problem is, this scourge is not so easy to get rid of. Judging from the way he behaves, he is not that kind of ignorant child. Use the will of fire to kidnap him, and the first thing you'll probably get is the illusion of dancing, starting from Senzuki Futori, the third Hokage. Danzo knew that Senzuki was difficult to deal with and was not as easy to fool as other children, if it were Naoki, Minato, and Danzo who had to put down their posture, put on a show, and use their minds to reason with them. They would definitely be able to fool Naoki and Minato into confusion, but if this person were Qianyue, it would be a good thing if Qianyue didn't sneer, fooling. Go to hell, no one will believe what you say, Danzo. What to do? This is a troublesome question. After thinking for a while, Danzo decided to stand still. Now the third Hokage is more anxious than him, so there is no need for him to step forward. Even if Qianyue kills his people and slaps him in the face, he can't be impulsive. If it is not handled cleanly, it will cause a lot of trouble. In the long run, it's not cost-effective, and it's better to leave the third Hokage to have a headache. After thinking about all this, Danzo said to the root ninja, "Send the news to Tsunade. In addition, take back the person who monitors Yagami Kianzuki. You don't have to keep an eye on him in the future, and don't conflict with him. The most important thing at this stage is to gain military merit and gain reputation. Only in this way can Danzo have the possibility of taking the position of Hokage. Now is not the time for Xiaolinglang and Qianyue to fight. How to deal with it is also what the third Hokage should worry about. Danzo only needs to plan for his own benefit. Qianyue is obviously a prickly hedgehog, not easy to talk to, and has no way to win her over. In this case, why bother yourself? The news quickly reached Tsunade. Did I see it wrong? Looking at the information scroll, Tsunade felt something was not right. Is it because I'm dazzled, or is the content inside wrong? Is this little guy Qianyue so awesome? Jiraiya came up to take a look, his face speechless. You did see the right person, this guy is very good. Even the third Kazekage can't resist the illusion. It seems that Qianyue is indeed an interesting person. Orochimaru smiled slightly and narrowed his eyes, his inverted pupils full of curiosity as to what kind of illusion could achieve this effect. If you can learn